is going on, guys? So good to see yous. Welcome to On Track Tuesday Creative Rails style. It's so good to see you all in here already. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. So yeah, let's do it. Let's jump on into the chat room here and say hello to everybody. So I saw Rob, Why Are You Naked, was in here. Dave from Crooked Red over Eastern. Dave, thanks so much for joining us tonight. You're normally not in here early, so that's cool to see you, Dave. I appreciate it. And as always, everybody, Dave is on next week. We got Dwight. Good to see you, Dwight. We got William for the new Fenris. Good to see you. And it's funny, a lot of people say it. I noticed on the live streams, a lot of people say that they always call William's channel New Ferris, but it's New Fenris. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Everybody just let me know if the volume's okay. I think we're good here. We're reading good. Stream looks good. I think we're all right. And let's keep going. Dave Atkins, good to see you, sir. We got Mark from Stu Structure. Really good to see you, sir. That's awesome. Nathan DeLay, as always, good to see you, Nathan. And there's Nate from Ty Valley Railroad and Coal Company. Cowboy Valley and Timberline, nice to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. There's Wilmer. Hey, Wilmer, did you see my shirt? And once again, thanks, Wilmer, for the shout out on your show yesterday in the morning. I appreciated that for this tonight. And there's Heath. Now, if anybody has, I'm sure you guys all know Heath by now of Humanity City or from Humanity Junction, but Heath's channel's really taken off. He's doing really well there if you guys have been paying attention. So that's somebody to keep an eye on for sure. And as most of you guys know, Heath and I run both the same DCC system. We're both running Digikais, but it's kind of cool. He's doing a Digitrax base version, and I'm doing a Lens base version. So it's LocalNet versus ExpressNet, and you can do both. You can do all kinds of things. So it's kind of cool to see him. I've been even learning a few things on there. So let's get back to anybody I missed on there. I hope. Hey, there's Vinny. I actually tuned into Vinny's live stream the other night, and he had Container Man on there, which is kind of a cool surprise. Then there's Art from the PDRR Engineer. Good to see Art. And there's Roy, Container Man 68. It was cute. It was cool to see him on there the other night. And John, I can't remember if I said hi to you or not. School Hill, River Valley. Good to see you. And there's Anthony from the Georgia Sun Belt. So I hope I got everybody there. If not, I apologize. So yeah, let's go into a little bit of homework as usual. What I like to do is just kind of go over the live streams that I know of and kind of follow and people that are kind of in the community. So anyways, let's start off Monday nights. It's Nate, as we have already mentioned, from the Tyadotten Valley Railroad and Coal Company. He's got his live show called Narrow Minded Monday, of course, because he does narrow gauge and pretty cool show to check out. That's every Monday. Also Monday nights we have Tom of Tom's Trains and Things, so be sure to check that out after Nate's show. Tuesdays we have Dave Thurber with the Crooked River and Eastern, so he's our fourth host in the month for On Track Tuesday, so be sure to check in with Dave. He's always got some cool surprises up his sleeve. He's doing how-tos and all kinds of things and showing his beautiful layout off, so as you guys all know, we're really excited to have him being part of the On Track Tuesday family. So make sure to check that out. Wednesday, of course, everybody knows Sparky 107. He's on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to talk about Sparky in a little bit here because he just messaged me a little earlier. But of course, you guys all know Sparky, so be sure to tune in to that. And after Sparky, we have Michael Mccarville, which is another really good modeler. He does a lot of, I'd say some more fine stuff, some more fine scale, a lot of how-tos on there. He's got a really good channel, so get a chance to check that out. Thursday, we have Hot Rod Rodney, as usual. And next Thursday, not this Thursday, I believe it's next Thursday, we have my pal Chris over at Go Via or Go Home. He's doing his monthly live stream, which is Go Home After Dark. So check that out. I'm also going to talk about Chris Warden a little bit here. He also has Mark from M&M Rails on that show. Friday, of course, we have my cuz, Vinny, BNSF 6951. course, Vinny's been around forever doing a live stream. I think he's probably the founder of everybody on here. Saturday, of course, we have Back on Track. That's Saturday mornings. And then Sundays, I believe it's the last Sunday of the month also, we have Ray Bobo with his thing. So let's just jump on back in here, guys, into the chat. I thought I saw another Anthony in here, and we've got Iron Horse in here. We've got John 2618, great modeler right there. I'm sure everybody knows who John 2618 is. Great channel. There's Flying Crow Robert. He hosted our 5th Tuesday. And Robert, I've been catching up on your live stream. I've been watching, basically I started about halfway through now, so I got to continue that later on, but it was looking good what you did. So thanks so much, Robert. Looked great. So yeah, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do my thing where I go back to my other main screen and get rid of that other stuff at the same time. And you know what? Let's try something else too. Let's try this. Yeah, we got a little music going. So tonight, later on, we're just going to talk about things we learned from the model railroad, because it's kind of a funny little story, a few things that I learned. I did a live stream before a while back about things I've learned from the prototype to adapt to the model, but it's kind of cool learning things about the prototype from the model. So I'll explain that a little bit later, what I mean by that. So I just wanted to hang out again as usual, talk a little bit about what's been going on. Now, I know people don't like it when we talk about the YouTube side of things. We like to stick with trains, but this is a YouTube channel, and you guys are YouTubers. And something I have noticed is views have gone down, but it's nothing to worry about. Something I've learned, and if you're noticing the same, it's pretty common with summer. And you know what? I can't complain because I haven't been watching a lot of videos myself either. We've been out busy doing things, and so it's not a bad thing. So if you've noticed that, guys, that your views are down, just remember it's summer. People are busy. They're out with their families. So I've definitely noticed it. But we're having a really great summer, and hasn't it been? I don't know about where you guys are. We've got people from all over the place on here, but here in Ontario, it's been a fantastic summer. I can't complain. We've already been camping. We've been to the lake swimming. The lake is super warm. Now with all this heat we're having, we had an insane thunderstorm Sunday night. A tornado actually touched down just north of us, so that was pretty wild. But it's been a good time. So anyway, speaking of summer, we've been doing what everybody does, the house cleaning, and I wanted to tell you guys something a little bit sad, but not that big of a deal. The old diorama that I built, that a lot of my pictures on here come from, like for my wall art and stuff, I finally threw it out and took it to the dump. So it's gone. So a little funny story with that. Speaking of our cats, you guys have seen our cat before when I used to be upstairs, Mew. So a few people commented about how cats and railroads don't mix, and let me show you how cats and railroads don't mix. Mew caught a tree off of the old diorama and got a hold of it, and this is what she did to it. So this is one of my goldenrod trees, and as you can see, she likes to mangle them. So that's why no kitties are allowed down here. I don't like, of course, the hair on there, and she knocks things over, but she actually attacks my trees, which is insane. So yeah, thought I'd share that with you guys. I thought that was kind of funny. So, I said before I was going to talk about Sparky. Now, it's kind of funny. You know what? Sparky has always supported this channel, and he messaged me before I went on. I don't think Sparky's ever missed an episode of this live stream. He's always on here. He's one of the moderators, but he messaged me, and he said he couldn't make it tonight, and he had really good reason. He was working late, but he sent me some pictures, and I was just able to get them on here before I went live. I'll show you the first one. So Sparky's working late tonight. He's going to be going for another 5 hours, but this is what he's doing. He's getting a big, massive transformer off of a rail car, and it's pretty cool. I'm not going to dig it out right now, but I have one of those Bachmann rail cars that look like this, and I wanted to make an extra, a train extra that showed something like this. So this is what Sparky's doing tonight, and he wanted me to share this with you guys, which I thought was pretty cool. Look at that. See the generators there? I don't know what those generators are doing, if anybody has any ideas. But then, of course, here he is, folks. So he sends his well wishes. Now, he also asked me to announce, and I asked if I could do it live on here, and he said, yeah, let it know. Sparky, because with everything going on, the visits, and you know, our and this is my shirt from Steamtown that I got from Wilmer from our meetup last year, but Sparky's having a barbecue. So he wanted me to pass that along. It's August 1st at his place. I am planning on going. As far as we know, we are going. So yeah, he wanted to pass that along if anybody's in the area. I know we have a number of people in Ontario. I'm not sure if anybody in here is from Ontario right now, but anybody from the States, if you can make it up with this whole, what do we call it, the showstopper thing, if we can get across the border, it'd be great to see us. And if I haven't met you, it'd be really cool to meet you. And I know Sparky would like to meet a lot of yous. So I'm hoping we can get more of our Canadian YouTube model railroader guys there. So speaking of another YouTuber I was speaking of earlier, now since I didn't do the mail call shoutouts and updates video this month, BYOB, I think so, Martin. I'm pretty sure. I know Sparky likes, I believe it's blue, but I'm sure it would be BYOB, but I'm not 100%. But anyways, yeah, Chris Govier or Go Home. I don't know if you guys know, he became a dealer for Andy Fletcher, and he had a post on Facebook about selling his work, and I picked this up. And so basically, Chris gets these from Andy Fletcher, and these are hand drawn. It's a print of the hand drawings, but Chris framed it. It was very good deal to get this framed. But anyways, he shipped it off to me right away. I was super excited. Really cool stuff on here. So I posted this on Instagram, and Chris went on there and actually tagged Andy Fletcher himself, and Andy wrote me on there and just thanking me. So just really great. If you guys get a chance, go over or go home, get a hold of him, Chris Ward. He is selling this. Andy Fletcher's got all kinds of stuff. Like no matter what your road, I'm sure he's got a lot of modern diesels. So I was really surprised when I saw the steam engine. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm going to reach out and see if he's got any of the Heritage Canadian National diesels and some of the Heritage Canadian Pacific. I would like to pick up some of those. So I thought you guys would like to see that. I wanted to share it with you. Cool. So that's Andy Fletcher. And if you guys are in the States, Andy Fletcher is down there, and I forget his email if somebody knows. But anyways, I'm sure just Google it or get a hold of Chris Ward at Govia, and he could hook you up. So that brings us to the end of that part. Let's just go on back into the chat, and we'll say hello. So it's funny. It's weird. On my screen, I've just noticed this now. On my screen, I have it set to live chat, but with you guys in the browser, it's set to top chat. So I don't know why it does that, if it's something to do with the algorithm to slow things down. I'm not sure. So I apologize if you've put stuff and you don't see it on the big screen. But I do have it on live chat on my end. So Martin's saying he likes Johnny Walker Blue too. Mela, you want to hear something funny? My wife's actually a Scotch connoisseur, you could call it. Like literally, she really likes Scotch. Our brother-in-law is Canadian, but his background is Scottish, and he kind of got us into it. But yeah, you should see my wife go. It's crazy. She loves it. So anyways, I know that Johnny Walker Blue, it's really expensive. So anyways, really off topic, but so you guys are saying very cool, very nice. Yeah, Nathan, that poster, I'm sure that's something you would really like. Shane's Train saying that would be perfect if it said Canadian steam engines, eh? It would be good. Dwayne's Fork and Spoon Railroad saying Scotch is awesome. What's do you have a specific area that you like, Dwayne? Like me, it's funny. People think I'm crazy. Now, I don't mind talking about this stuff on here because this isn't a children's show, so I don't have any problem talking about that kind of thing. But me, I'm an Isla guy, so I really like the really peaty, smoky ones. And people think that's crazy, but I don't like your normal Highland and all that, which my wife likes. So yeah, people think I'm weird for that. But anyways, Rob's saying he likes Scotch tape. What do you use Scotch tape for, Rob? Come on. I use a lot of electrical tape on the railroad, but Scotch tape? Actually, you could use it, you know how people take decals off of their engines and stuff when they're renumbering. Apparently there's a way to do that with Scotch tape. Oh, now Rob's saying he doesn't like Scotch tape. Well, that's good. So let's jump on back into it here. Let's go into this section here. Okay, we're back to our main screen. So William, you're saying you'd love to find some of those steam locomotives for your layout. Most of these, the Alberta Prairie I've never seen. This here, that's pretty cool. That's like a Canadian National subsidiary. And this one here, the HCWI, Harrison Scrumptious SMT wrote to me about that. Thought that was pretty cool seeing that. But a lot of this you could do in brass. I believe the one's the Hudson, what Rapido does, the Royal Hudson. 6060, you also get that in brass. And then there's the IHC President's Choice when you find it. It's not the best model, but you can normally pick them up. It was a train set, and you could get it for $100 back in the day from grocery stores. It was made by Mahano IHC, I can't remember. But a lot of people are collecting those engines now. You can still get them on eBay. They're a little overpriced, but train shows and stuff, you can find them for a good deal. Roy, good to see ya. Roy from Panama, N-Scale, Union Pacific, Everson Subdivision. Roy says, I don't drink or smoke. I need that money for trains. It's so true, Roy. Good point. Very good point. And Roy, that's why you look so good, right? Clear Scotch makes good windows for HL scale vehicles. That's cool. I've heard of people too using Scotch tape to like you can use the foggy one to if you want to kind of blank out windows in buildings and stuff. That's what I love about this. We start chatting and then we go off on these these conversations about stuff, and just from the chat talking with you guys. It's a lot of fun. I have a good time with this. And Rob's saying hi to Bill. I didn't see Bill. We're talking about William, because I know I always call him William, but I know some people call him Bill. Cowboy Valley saying, hey Roy, if you drink enough, you won't know how much you're spending. Well, what I could do is give my wife Mel more scotch, and then she wouldn't know what I was spending on the trains. Not funny? No, that's not funny. Davidson, he has a few of those PC train sets. That's awesome, David. I have the Yard Bull, and I have the 210-2 Santa Fe Canadian National, and I have the it's a Streamline Pacific, and I have it actually over on my display case. You can see it in the background when I'm doing like my other videos. But something to know, the 210-2. I put a new cab on. I believe it was a brass cab. It was Cal scale, I believe. And just that, and I changed the tender. So I changed it from 4100 to 4104, I believe. And it was a beautiful model. I repainted it and did a little weathering on it. And man, I got a lot of comments on that thing. A lot of people thought it was brass. But it was just one of those cheap train set ones. But as you guys know, that stuff is still at the club, and I never picked it up, and I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna. I ran into those guys at a show a while back, but with everything being closed, I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. Rob's saying that he put Scotch tape over a cracked windshield. It didn't help. Now it looks like a cracked windshield with Scotch tape stuck to it. Oh my goodness. And Nathan saying, the locomotives that are made by Mahano are the best locomotives in my opinion. I used 2 of them for my scratch building. Nice, Nathan. That's cool. That's good. Nathan, you were asking a while back about the steam engines that I'm using, and a lot of them are the Varney frames, but the one Pacific I'm going to use a Mahano, an old Mahano that I bought off eBay. My only issue is I'd like to leave the original motor in it because the motor is fine and works fine. Just not sure if I can get it in underneath the smaller boiler that I'm putting on. David's saying the Yard Bull's the only one that he has. Nice, David. You know what? All I did with them, David, too, I just added the number plate on the front and I added the triangle number board from Miniatures by Eric. And they're really nice, convincing little models. They're not exact, but they're decent. Yeah. So, next part, something I always do, or lately I've done, I go into questions from videos that I've recently uploaded and just kind of answer and to kind of guide things along and make things interesting. So this came from, I believe it's Joed596. And he said he's thinking of setting up a small 1 foot by 5 foot, I believe it says, HO switching layout. And this is just what I was looking for. Thanks and thumbs up for your idea. Cheers, Joe. Now, I put this comment up because I did a little thing a while back. A lot of you probably don't remember. But I was talking about, I hate it when people put up, especially like a lot of the gamers and stuff, they put up videos with old ideas that are not theirs, and they claim them to be their own. So this video was actually talking about, what he's talking about was this one where it's talking about the uncoupling tool right here. So what I wanted to mention here is this is not really my idea, okay? Like this has been done forever, and a lot of you old school guys on here will know this. So I wanted to show you a few. The lanyard kind of was my idea. I haven't really seen that, but this kind of idea here, not original, not really my idea. It's been done. There's been several ways. So I wanted to show you guys a few uncoupling tools. This one here, this is the one by Rix. Very nice. And this is actually why I keep my trip pins on. It's very common now for modelers to be cutting off their trip pins. But I keep them on. You take this and basically the magnet works and it pulls them apart. And they work pretty decent. And they come in a package like that right there. And you just take, basically the magnets are there and you epoxy them onto the tool. So my original plan was to use this and have these all around and drill a hole and hang these on lanyards. But I had an issue. I thought they would work really good with the passenger cars because I'm doing passenger switching, which I've never done before and you don't really see too often. These wouldn't fit, this wouldn't fit through the diaphragm. So I decided, you know what? I can have them, you know, around so they're handy, but I wasn't going to use them. Another old tool I had was this old Micromark uncoupling tool. And all this is very simple. If I can even get it out of here. Ow. This is just a pick. So same kind of idea. And this is kind of goes along with the skewer idea, right? So this is by Micromark. It's $10. Same idea, right? But again, I wouldn't be able to put that on lanyard. So I've always used, my favorite tool has always been bamboo skewers because I use bamboo skewers all the time for telephone poles and all kinds of things. I use them to make pine trees. So I buy them all, when I'm at the grocery store I buy them all the time, blah, blah, blah. So the only reason I put this handle on was just to give a little bit more beef to get that little string in there. So the question is, how did I come up with the lanyard idea? That was my idea. The reason was, I'm going to show you how I run my trains. So basically on this railroad, I want trains to run, when I ever get around to it, trains to run with crews. So the first idea is this. These are my throttles, tablets, and I've talked about this before several times, so I know you guys are probably getting bored with it, but these work great, especially with JMRI. Heath can tell you about this as well. So these are my throttles. So basically what will happen, over by my desk I've got some hooks, and what will happen when you come, you'll get assigned your train, you'll get your paperwork. I've got some paperwork, you can just see it back over here. But your hands get full, so it's nice having this, and I don't really have pockets on the railroad to hold it, so I came up with this, so it's really nice. Anyways, long story short, the engineer would be given this. And this is something too that's cool if you ever want to run with your kids or family to get kids into it. What I do is I get the kids to run the trains. They love driving and I do the switching. And that's where I came up with it because I don't like the little kids having their hands up on the rail. You know, they're clumsy and they're breaking things and all that. So realistically, on my railroad, the less experienced person actually drives. Ends up being the engineer, and the conductor is the one that's more experienced. The conductor has to, handle the switch list, has to handle the paperwork. It's a pretty big job. So I thought, since the engineer had this with a throttle, I thought the conductor could be given something like this. And the engineer can wear this too. I just keep it underneath the throttle so it doesn't scratch it. But yeah, it comes with a flashlight, and this works great. Even for, I thought originally just for night operations, but this works great even, if you're getting a little older. My eyes aren't as great as they used to be. Seeing in there between the cars really can help if there's a bit of a shadow. So it works great. Yeah, you just work and pop it off like that, and that is that. So I'm just checking out here. Let's go in here for a sec. Alright, so Rob saying I have a 1 foot by 10 foot switching layout. Most people just call it a shelf, but I switch all the boxes around sometimes when I look inside of them to see my trains. Don't judge me. And Wilmer saying, Robert Johnson, you can get 100 for $1 at Dollar General. Yeah, they're so cheap, Wilmer, and it's funny. You know what? Here, it's just by chance because I was talking about the. Now this one's pretty ratty, but here's a pine tree I did a while back. That's a bamboo skewer furnace filter. Now this is another one that Mew got a hold of, the cat. But I make tons of these, right? Really easy, really fast. So that's the bamboo skewer in there as well. So, yeah, so what do we got here? Dwayne is saying engineer all the way. Oh, I know, is it? It's so true, and I like both. It keeps it interesting too, right? For people, it's if somebody wants to do something, they can switch. You know what I mean? Cowboy Valley saying, Benny, just wait till you're old. Oh, it's funny. I already have bad eyes, and I've just noticed they're getting worse and worse. I think it's from all the years of being so close and not using magnification with my trains. It's made them even worse. David saying, my layout is set up to operate like that, but I've never had enough operators together at one time to use it to full potential. I know, and that's like me, David, and I keep talking about it, and it's been my honest dream, but I get so sidetracked with projects. Like, as you can see, I love doing scenery before it's all done, and people do it different ways, but I do want to have, when I do get the track work all down, I do want to have, get a number of people together and have a nice formal operating session together. And there's a few people around that I would like to even start like a round robin group that I thought would be kind of cool. All right, so let's jump back here. And let's go to question number 2. I can't even remember right now what it was. This was by Chris Mitchell. Okay, now I remember. This was to do with the static grass. Now what happened here, Chris Mitchell, somehow, I think another video, the static grass applicator came up, and he made a suggestion. So anyways, Chris said here, as I mentioned to you before, that I highly recommend this. To help you a little more, about 30 minutes, use your vacuum to clean up the loose grass. When you do, the vacuum helps the grass to stand up even more. Glad you like it. Would have stunk if you didn't after recommending it. And he's 100% right. The static grass applicator was getting the static grass to stand up. But the trick that he's talking about, I actually did that with my, I don't know, you probably can't see them but from here, but right in here, I've got some reeds and stuff standing up. That's how I've done those. So you basically just take a stocking and put it over the vacuum, and like he said here, let the glue set up a little bit, vacuum over. It also cleans, because you lose a lot, and I realized the first time I didn't have the stocking over it, and I ended up vacuuming up a lot of static grass and wasting it. So yeah, I ended up pretty well filling the hopper right back up after my first go with it. So great tip, Chris. Thanks so much for sharing that on the channel. So true. So like I said, and Chris said, vacuum, stocking or pantyhose, just with an elastic band holding it over the vacuum, and you just vacuum it, and it cleans it up, and it also pulls the grass and makes it really stand up nice. So really great tip. It really helped here. And did I see Gaffa and Nancy come in? Thanks, guys, for joining us. That's pretty cool. Nice to see us. And let's go on with question 3. Oh, this was from LJ La Riviere. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So this was back to the last video that I did, the trains running, and he was asking about 1726, which is awesome work. What sound system are you running on the 1726? Now I was surprised. Now I responded to him because I'm not a big fan of 1726 in the sound. So what that is, I've mentioned that engine before. 1726 is the base of it, the chassis, is a Walther's Proto 2000 sound equipped. It used to be an Algoma Central, but then I took a lifelike Proto 2000 shell and put it on that chassis, or on that frame. So what the sound system is, it's actually an old QSI decoder. And QSI, they invented a lot of stuff, and they've kind of disappeared. And I know there was a lawsuit with them, and I believe ESU, I can't remember what that was about like the proto throttle, or no, whatever it was called, like the notching that they do. But QSI did invent that from what I remember, so that lawsuit is kind of strange. But I didn't put my response on there, but my response was I appreciated it. I like the prime mover and I like the bell, but I hate the horn. Like I absolutely hate the horn on that thing. To me it sounds like an organ. It's like somebody. It sounds so fake and synthesized. Whereas I believe the Rapido switcher, I think it's an ESU in there, and it's just so much difference. But we're talking a huge time difference in technology as well, right? Like the switcher it rings out. It's got reverb in it. It's so beautiful. Speaking of that, and speaking of sound decoders, my TCS Wow Sound is actually back now. So really great service. They fixed it up for me. No extra charge from the one that I blew up that I told you guys about. They've sent it back, and so yeah, hopefully soon I get that scratch build steam engine done. Oh my goodness, it's just taken for so long, and like I said, the summer's been so busy that I just haven't touched it. But now I got the decoder back, so that should give me some inspiration to get it done. So that's it for the questions, guys. Let's go on back in here. Now I just noticed you guys went really quiet. You guys all... What happened? Okay, so Flying Crow said, the European grass is finer, so it stands up better. Faller and other brands. That's a really nice... that's a really good tip there, Robert. Thanks for saying that. I'm going to try that, because I've seen, different brands. I just went, the hobby shop had Woodland and Scenic, so I went. I did notice it is a little heavy, so yeah, possibly that would help. Up above, Cowboy Valley said, thanks, Benny. Wife's home, gotta go. And yes, I'm whipped. She pays for everything. That's awesome. Nice. I like that. That's pretty funny. Oh my goodness. Here, let's go in here. Where's my thing? Where is it? Okay, I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to get rid of this music. Is that music getting annoying, folks? So let's just go back to normal, and I've got all these things on here. It's hard to... here it is, folks. I keep forgetting to put this on. If you guys are having fun, give a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. But I'm sure you guys already sub. That'd be kind of weird if you didn't. I don't know how you'd be in here if you didn't. So anyways, yeah, that's my little shameless scroll. I've always had that and never put it on there. So there you go. Be sure to hit that thumbs up, folks. Help me out. Thanks. Hey, there's Chris from Go Viera Go Home. Chris, I was just talking about you a little bit ago. I was sharing this. So if you want to put up your contact information for that, Chris, I was giving you a little plug there because I absolutely love this. Now I got a special spot where it's going. When you come down my stairs in the basement, that's the part that's not complete yet. When you go down there, I'm gonna have a few other things, like I have more antiques to put up and some more pictures and maybe some prototype photos of this railroad. So that's where that's gonna go. So Chris, something I was saying earlier, if Andy Fletcher has it, I would love to find some of his drawings of some heritage units. So like some old Canadian National diesels in the green and gold, and some old Canadian Pacific in the gray and maroon. I'd absolutely love that. I think that'd be cool. If he does that, that'd be really neat. So that, okay, thanks. So Chris just put it up there. If you guys can see that, I'll put this on here too. So I'll just put up this so if people are watching on TV later on or on the computer, they can see that. Go gvoafterdark@hotmail.com. You contact him, and like I said, every road you can think of. I mean, there's so many, like Conrail, BNSF, Santa Fe, it's crazy, Southern Pacific. It goes on and on and on and on and on what this guy has done. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, the Helix. Everybody's probably wondering what's going on with the Helix. Like, what's going on here? It hasn't done anything. There's been a little bit of progress, but it's something that you can't see. So if you look over my shoulder, right about there, do you see how it's kind of white back there? That is the Sculptamold. It's finally been put in. I'm finally moving with the scenery back there. So if you guys probably don't remember, but basically I have to finish that scenery underneath because basically this level up here is going to go right to the corner, and it's going to cover that, so you won't really be able to get in there. You could, but it'd be extremely difficult. So I pretty well want to have that scenery finished, especially on film and for pictures, and you see trains coming out from the Helix, you have some scenery and something nice to look at back there. So that's what's going on in the Helix. So that's almost done. If I really wanted to crack down on it, I could get that done really quick. I'm just lazy. I've been super busy with summer, as I said earlier, having fun, having a good time, and I've been slacking on that. All right, so I had another subject. Hang on 1 second. Okay, sorry, Nancy's just talking to Vinny there. My subject, which I was going to talk about, is learning from the model. So it's something cool that happened. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it, so I'm just going to turn the camera. Okay. So do you guys see right here, we have this building here, like this old barn, basically like a grain elevator type thing, and we have the factory. So this is Krug Brothers right here. Now what happened? Now when I started building that building, I used photos and I basically scaled it. And I kind of talked about this in a video. So basically I knew that door was probably around 4 feet. It was a double door, and I knew how high it was, probably about 68 inches. And guessing what the windows were. And I went from there and basically scaled it out using proportions. But then when I got it finished, I put on the railroad. I went, oh no, there's a major problem. The elevator is taller than the factory. I'm like, I'm gonna have to start this all over again, right? So it's too bad. But here's something awesome. I had an aerial photograph of that factory and the elevator, and guess what? It is taller, and it is exactly like that, and it's right where it is. So it's actually pretty well perfect. So I was so excited about that. Now I'm sorry I haven't put on the picture that I'm talking about with the aerial view, but it's an old grainy black and white photo, and I was pretty sure it wouldn't show up. But I was so excited to see that. Taking a photo, because I didn't have anything of that building beside the factory. I did them separately. I had a photo of the factory, and I did the same thing. I scaled it out and did that, and I had this building and I scaled it out and I did that, not knowing how they look together. And then I put them together. I'm like, oh no, I made a big mistake. But it's not a mistake. It's just like the real thing. So it was so cool. It was so exciting to see that. Another one I wanted to talk about, another situation like that, was when I found the track plan in Ian Wilson's book, Steam Over Palmerston, the track plan of Owen Sound. I started planning the operations of Owen Sound and how it would work. And a big question I had to myself was, where would the caboose go? because Owen Sound was stub ended. It ended and it went to an interchange with Canadian Pacific, and that was it. It was the end of the line. So there was a lot of switching and a lot of runarounds to do, and I'm like, the caboose would have to go somewhere. Plus, I also read that a lot of guys hated sleeping in the bunkhouse in Owen Sound. Apparently, it was pretty nasty. It was super old. It was from the original Grand Trunk days at this time in the 50s. There's a story of a rat jumping up and biting a guy as he was sleeping. Horrible place. So a lot of them would probably like to sleep in the caboose. So I'm looking at the track plan, and the track plan that I drew up. I'm thinking, where would these guys stay? Where would they put the caboose? A, so it's out of the way. And B, so it's in a good spot, close to the yard. They can get out to the roundhouse. Well, sure enough, I picked a spot and didn't know if it was prototypical or not, but I'm like, you know what, this is where I'm going to leave them because it makes sense. It's right on the water. If it's a hot summer day, you could have the cool breeze blowing on you if you're sleeping in there. And again, as I said, it's out of the way. Anyways, I'm looking at some old pictures of the west side of Owen Sound from the harbor, and it was actually a picture of a boat, because the harbor was really famous for boats and different ships and grain ships and basically Great Lakes canalers and stuff. But off in the distance, sure enough, you look closely and you see a line of three vans sitting on that very track that I picked on the railroad. So there you go, just like that. Using the model railroad to figure out history. Isn't that cool? That's something I never expected to happen. And some of you guys on here, you old school guys, have maybe ran into that. But I thought that was the most amazing thing, figuring that out and finding that in the photographs. So cool. And again, I'm sorry I'm not putting the photographs on. Maybe I'll talk about this in an uploaded video and I can get it better. But anyways, I'm just going to jump into the chat here because I saw a couple of funny comments. Rob's at it again. Wilbur's saying, rat biting would definitely ruin the day and apparently ruin the night. Now, this is a story in that book. Apparently it's true because Ian Wilson interviewed old engineers and stuff to write these stories. Just absolutely fantastic if you guys get a chance to pick up these books. But anyways, Rob, why are you naked? Said, rats don't bite me while I'm sleeping. They do it while I'm awake. They're fearless. I've heard that. Little buggers. Why are you naked? Have you met any New York City rats? No, but I'm a big fan of Splinter, Heath. Oh, get a snake to eat the rat. Oh, that's creepy. Do you have a pet snake, Robert? I used to have a pet iguana, and he destroyed my... I should find pictures of that. My second layout in the apartment. He climbed up on there. It looked like Godzilla went through it, and I had pictures of it, and guys at the club thought that was pretty funny. A mongoose to kill the snake. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh, that is funny. Oh, you guys are good. Anyways, I've lost my train of thought now. Train of thought. Anyways, so going back to, okay, so something I want to do is make a little fancy thing that comes up here, like my question for you guys, because this is part of it too, learning from the railroad, learning stuff about the prototype. So something that I'm learning that's new for me is switching passenger cars. And this is interesting, and I'm modeling the two passengers. Well, basically it's four. Two go up and two come back in the same day. And they're not turns. They go up and stay, and the other two are coming back at the same time. So it's literally four different trains, four different engines. That's why I need so many steam engines. But the cool thing is the passenger trains switch. And I'll give you an example. So we have the Wyerton mix. The Wyerton mix goes out to Wyerton, and it will come up here to Parkhead. This is going to be Parkhead right up here, which is a Y. And it will pick up a baggage car from the northbound passenger train, whichever one it is, 173, I can't remember. It'll pick that up and bring it to Wyerton. And then again, it will do a turn in Wyerton, come back. So sorry, there's actually 5 passenger trains if you want to count the mixed as well. But anyways, does a turn, comes back, leaves that baggage car, which would now be full, and the passengers from Wyerton that want to go off to Palmerston and Toronto, Hamilton, London, wherever they're going, leaves them there, and then the mix comes back to Owen Sound. Then what happens is the 174 comes along from Owen Sound. It pulls into Parkhead, decouples from the train, then it has to back up, pick up that baggage car that's from Wyerton, goes back out, goes back onto its train, and continues on. Now this process happens again in Kincardine. It picks up trains from Southampton. It picks up cars or trains. It picks up cars. From Southampton. It picks up cars from Kincardine. And basically, when you see photographs, so that train 174, by the time it gets down, I think it went to Hamilton. One went to Hamilton. One went to Toronto. But anyways, by the time they get down, they're a lot bigger trains, and they also switch power. Bigger engine. So this, once you get south of Palmerston, that's when the big Mccarvilles start running and the heavier weight Pacifics start running. So my question to you guys is, I'm just curious, when they do this kind of switching, do they do that switching with the passengers in the coaches? Because that wouldn't make sense to me. Wouldn't that be kind of dangerous? Like when, especially like here, when they go to pick up, or would they wait, couple on, then let the people load and then go? It's just a question I've always had. I'm not used to passenger operations. I don't know much about it. It's pretty exciting learning about it. I also know, like I've said before, that same train also picks up reefers from Wyerton. Now that happened a little earlier, probably not as much in the 50s, more in the late 40s and early 50s, but also picked up reefers of fresh whitefish from Wyerton, which it would run down to Toronto to all the fancy restaurants and everybody in Toronto. So it's pretty cool. But that's the one thing I've always wondered. There'd be people in the coaches. Would they switch with the people in there, or would the people get off? Does anybody have a comment on that? So I'm going to throw up the live chat screen here and just see if anybody has anything to say about that, because I do want your help, and I am curious. How does that happen? Now, I get it. Like in Parkhead, the people could jump off because they'd be waiting for the next train. But places like Palmerston and stuff, like, wouldn't they just stay on or not? But wouldn't that be really rough when they couple? Like, you've heard a freight train couple, how loud that is and how much it shakes. Yeah, how does that work? So if you could, go ahead and comment and let me know if you have any ideas. So Art saying, most switching like that only affects head-end cars. Coaches dropped off first. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Art. So that makes sense. So they would probably leave the people in the coaches, drop it off, lock the brakes, and then go do their switching and then pick it up again, I guess, with the people in it. Mark from Stu Structure says, yes, some trains switched with passengers, some did not. It depended on the length of the times for the switch. See, and that's the thing, Mark. These schedules were pretty tight from what I've seen. So I'm guessing they did it with people on there, but I wasn't sure. It's crazy. Mark's also saying sometimes even sleepers were switched out. I could see that totally, especially in northern Ontario, where you had your really long trains like the Canadian and stuff going up north and across Canada. When they had the sleepers on there, that would make total sense. It's pretty cool. So like I said, it's been a learning curve for me. I've been really enjoying learning about it. It's amazing, this hobby, isn't it? There's always something to learn, always something new. There's so many avenues that you can go down and rabbit holes you can start figuring out. It just goes to show how great it is. Chris from Go Via or Go Home is saying, with Via, when they get to BC, the train cars are split in two. It's emptied, then refilled, then they join them back up and go back toward Toronto, only because the train is too long. I've seen that, Chris, that train, you said BC, but I'm not sure what you're talking about BC, but I know the one you're talking about that goes along the Kingston sub, the Via train I see all the time there. It's basically two trains put together. They've got a locomotive and then about 4 or 5 cars, and then a locomotive and about 4 or 5 cars. Now, what I was told was so that train can split. It basically goes, I'm not sure if it's Kingston, and then it splits, and one goes to Ottawa, and one goes out towards Montreal. I'm not sure. Again, you would know better than I would. But really cool stuff. Like, who would ever think, like me being in the club and stuff, running a passenger train was kind of a beginner's thing. Like, you just kind of run a train around the layout. They'd get the beginner guys to do that. But now I'm finding, man, passenger trains are really fascinating and really cool and really exciting, especially on a little branch like this. It was, this is the connection to the world, the rest of the world, for everybody in our small town where I'm originally from. So yeah, pretty cool. Wilmer said, yeah, I'm not sure who he's talking to. Hello to all in the chat. Too many to go, one by, one left out, but so good to be here with you all. Yeah, so do you mean when you're trying to say hi to everybody? Because I was talking about that the other night. I think it was on Vinny's. I was trying to type on because I normally watch on my TV and watch on my cell phone, and people are like, hey, Benny, and I feel so bad because I can't respond fast enough to all the people. It's not like being on the computer, and then so I don't say hi to anybody. I feel like a jerk. So I normally say like, hi guys to everybody. I'm trying to, everybody has noticed that with me. That's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just not fast enough typing on my cell phone. Oh, Wilmer just wrote coffee all over the shirt. 10's up. Oh no. That just happened now, Wilmer? And Chris is saying hello to Vinny, and Chris is talking about, okay, so you're talking about the Via Canadian. Yeah, and I even saw, like I was saying earlier, Chris, I saw something like the Via that goes by here. It's 2 sections, and what I heard, like I said, apparently one goes to Ottawa and one goes to Montreal, but I'm not 100% what happens there. Mark is saying the best engineers were used on passenger service, and I believe it because you'd have, yeah, totally. It's extremely precious cargo, and yeah, a lot of lives on there, and you'd want it to be a nice smooth ride, right? For sure. The end of the ride and the train itself. That's from Nathan. So Randy popped in. Randy, did I say hi? I think I did. So we're talking about people coming over running this railroad. Randy would be one of them. He lives really close to me. Whenever I do get it ready, which seems like it's taking forever, but I have nobody to blame for that but myself. Well, guys, it's 7:53. I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Do you guys want to promote your channels? Any good videos coming up or anything you'd like to talk about? Go ahead and do that now. We'll do it with the live chat screen up there. You know what? To me, it just seems a little quiet right now. I'm gonna put the music back on. All right, and Heath's just talking to Nancy. The Durango Nancy. There's Leslie on there. Good to see you, Leslie. I don't think I said hi to you earlier either. The Amtrak Empire Builder splits. Joins at Spokane. Passengers are all asleep. That's so great. So they do it with everybody in there. I can't believe they do that. So you've answered my question. I wasn't sure if they do it with people in there or not. So Dwayne's saying, good stream tonight. Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate it. Oh, Humanity, you have a giveaway? I did not know about that, actually. I did not know. I enjoyed your video with the new Digitrax throttle. I was watching that. And it's funny, I was saying earlier, like I went with ExpressNet because I already had a Lentz throttle, so now I'm thinking about going with the Roco throttles, but I'm also mainly just using these guys here. But they're nice to have a backup. Here, I'll show you Nathan. Nathan's saying he's got 827 subscribers, and he's giving away 2 locomotives for Sparky's contest. Nice. Roy's saying, ContainerMan68 Roy's saying he got more awesome scenery from Oregon, Columbia River, Gorge, and Washington. Coolness. Wilmer saying he's at 698, 4 more episodes to hit my 100th episode of Not Bad. That's awesome, Wilmer. And as I said already, I've got my Wilmer shirt on that I absolutely love that you gave me. And I support Wilmer everywhere. I got Wilmer's sticker on my Waybills folder. Wilmer's awesome. Heath, you've been climbing so fast, it's crazy. 338, contest if I make it to 500. I always like your shows. Benny, very relaxed. Well, thanks, Heath. That's the idea. Kind of chill out and hang out, right? It's kind of the idea. You haven't seen my shows when I do like my, when we get further on the railroad, I'll go into more of my, what do you call it? I do kind of like a slideshow and have the music going. We do it live and talk about stuff. It's a good time, I think. I have a good time anyways. So thanks, Heath, for that. Nancy saying the railroad came after me, so I had to change my name. Oh, okay. John, School Hills at 4:37. Layout update is coming soon. John's layout is looking really awesome. He's got stuff happening everywhere. It's pretty cool. And it's going to be cool how he ties the scenery in with his sub-road bed going around everywhere. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll up a little bit here. The only thing I accomplished this weekend was I built and installed a fence on the layout. Well, you've done more than I have, Dwayne. I haven't done anything. Well, I did the sculpt and mold back there, but that's it. Oh, where were we? Well, thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that, man. Of course, Carver. Of course, Paul. Yes. I didn't even see you on there. I'm sorry about that. Of course, I'd love you to come and see it and run the trains. That's awesome. Randy's at 297. Nancy's at 1778. Leslie's at 185 subs. Oh, nice. You're doing some UK rail fanning. That's wicked. By the weekend, he's going to have that out. Mystic Southern Railway. I don't know if I've seen you on here either. Stephen Bennett. Yeah. Everybody's heard of Stephen Bennett. That's a really good channel. Nancy's going to do a 2,000 sub giveaway. That's crazy. Renee saying hello at Mystic Southern Railways. Vinny's got a special live stream coming this Friday. That's pretty cool. Thank you, John. Thanks for joining us. Ooh. Mark, at first I thought you were swearing, but I'm guessing that's a money contest coming soon. Watch on Fridays. Oh, that's good. And Mark's at 5:45. Nice. Well, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Now, I got a little surprise for you. Now, some of you, I didn't share this on my Creative Rails Facebook, but I shared it on my... personal Facebook. There was just a lot of stuff going on. People complaining and whining and complaining about the weather and complaining about this and that. And, you know, everybody's upset about the showstopper, and I get it. And everybody's upset with, you know, who they voted for. And I was getting so tired of seeing it. And a lot of people that I know from the old days, a lot of people know me as a musician, but they don't really know me as a model railroader. I've said that before. It's not like I kept it a secret. It just wasn't out there. Only my closest friends knew about it. So I put a picture up and I wrote a little poem, and I'm gonna finish tonight off with that for you guys. And it goes a little something like this. Some people bitch, some people chew. Some do nothing except argue. They complain when it's sunny. They cry when it rains. Me? I play with trains. Stay creative, my friends. Happy model railroading. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.